on. Now she's so strong. Now she on a higher level, you gotta be on. This is her show, now you gotta perform. If you don't like it, then you better be gone.
Hey YouTube family, wagwan. I hope everybody is having a great week. And today, this video is going to be about acrylic application. That's what my focus is mainly going to be on, and shaping as well. So my main focus for this application is one ball method. Whenever I start doing my application, I always think, what method am I going to use? Not every set I do the same method. For longer nails, I mostly do 3-ball methods. For medium nails, I mostly do 1 or 2 balls. And for short nails, I also do 1-ball method. Mind you, it is not something that it has to be 1 ball. If you apply 1 ball and you feel like you need more acrylic to cover the set, you have to come in with more acrylic. So even if you're saying, okay, I'm going to do a 3-ball method, if 3 balls didn't cover your work properly, you have to come back with more acrylic and finish the job. So when you're applying acrylic, the first thing that you want to do is saturate your brush completely. You do not want to start working with a dry brush. You want to make sure that the bristles of your brush is completely wet. And then next, you're going to swipe towards your client, and then the opposite side of the brush, you're going to dip in your acrylic. Then you're going to apply your acrylic, press and release. And I'm going to show you these steps step by step on our next finger. Also, you want to make sure you're using good quality products to work with. This is going to improve your speed and also the quality of your work. So now you're going to dip in your monomer, saturate your brush completely, all the bristles, swipe towards your client and then bounce and press. You want to kind of wait until the acrylic polymerizes before you apply it. When you go to apply just above the cuticle, press and release. When you're doing 1-ball method, you want to make sure that you focus on your cuticles and sidewalls, because when the acrylic starts to dry, it is hard for this to flow in those areas properly. So the reason why you want to work your sidewalls and your cuticles first is because the wetter the acrylic, the more it's going to fit snug around the sides and in the cuticle area. And then you're going to work your way to the tip using the belly of your brush to cut the remainder of the acrylic. The belly of your brush has the most strength. So if you're working and your acrylic is hard to move, what you want to do is use the belly of your brush to move it. This part of the brush has the most strength. Now I noticed that my apex was a little bit too thin, so I'm going to come in with some more acrylic just to blend and build my apex more. You never want to leave your apex too thin, because then your client's nail is going to break. The apex is where the strength of the nail comes from. So if your client hit their nails and the apex is flat and weak, it is going to break easily. Always make sure that before you start working, the tip of your acrylic brush is flat. You don't want it to be pointy, because it's not going to cover your sides and your cuticle, and it's not going to flush the acrylic properly. So you always want to make sure that the tip of your brush or your brush overall is completely flat without having that balled up look. And like I said, make sure that you're cleaning up your sides as you go along, because remember, in the beginning, we always pre-shape our nails, and this is to save time. So when you pre-shape the nails, you already spent your shaping time pre-shaping. So when you apply, try to apply as neat as possible to save time. Most of your timing is going to come from your application. This is, when I say it's coming from your application, I'm saying learn how to apply acrylic properly, because when you do this, you're going to move faster with your application. You're not going to have as much bumps and lumps. In your application, it's going to be smoother. And also when it comes down to shaping, you don't have to waste time shaping. So you want to make sure that you work on your acrylic application, because this is really the foundation of your speed. This is the foundation of your lifting. This is the main part of your nail application overall. So you want to make sure that you master your acrylic application. If you ever pick up a bead and it seems too wet, all you need to do is drain your brush in your paper towel. So do not apply the acrylic if it's already running off your brush and you can tell that it's going to overflow. So if you pick up a bead and your bead seems to be too wet, just drain the opposite side of the brush on the paper towel, and the opposite side meaning the side where the acrylic is not on. This is our acrylic application, nice and neat, which means we're going to save time shaping. After every application, you want to make sure you clean your acrylic brush. That way it will last longer, because if you have a brush and in the end you don't clean it and flatten it and take care of it, it will not last long. And these products that I'm using, everything will be listed below. And this color is roses, super nice. Every time I use this on a client, they always come back and ask, what color is that again? I want to use it. So they really love this color. This is definitely a client favorite, this and Too Cute. Now I want you guys to take a look at my sides. Do you see how my nail tips and my acrylic is connected to the side wall? You always want to make sure that when you're applying, you're not leaving gaps in between. Make sure that when you apply your tips, that is why it is important to apply from side to side. Now we're going to get into the shaping, and we're doing square. As you can see, with square you need to hold your hand file completely straight and up against the nail. Apply pressure to the hand file, and when I'm doing square, to get that sharp look, I like to go up and down, because like that I feel like the shape comes out way sharper than if I go from side to side. So like I said, for square, go up and down straight along your side walls. When you're doing square shape, you want to make sure that you're lining up the sides, like coming out the side walls. That should be connected to the free edge of the nail. So put that hand file up against the nail, and you should see a straight line when you're filing. So when you're filing and you apply the hand file on the nail, you should already see the shape of the nail just from looking at how the hand file is positioned. So even if it's for coffin shape, when you slant your hand file, you should see a straight line going into the coffin shape. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing with shaping. It's something that you have to keep doing, keep repeating, and then you're going to eventually get it. Practice makes everything perfect, guys. If you really want to get this, you have to get up every day, put the work in. I remember when I was just starting out, I used to be up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, just watching YouTube videos over and over and over and over. I used to be on so many different channels just watching videos, and then I have clients early, 8, 9 o'clock, and I'm going to bed late. And sometimes after the video, I used to be like, oh yes, I got this, I'm ready. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. Like after the video, I'm like, yes, finally, I feel like I got this. And then when it's time to work on the client, baby, no. I'm like, damn, what happened last night? I know for sure that I understood everything that I saw. But guess what? You have to practice. It's not what you see. You can see me do it. My voice is going to repeat in your head, but you have to put everything that you learn to work. I am cleaning out the underside of the nail because you don't want to leave this hanging, because if you leave this hanging, your client's nail is going to chip easily, and also because of the hangnails, they might start picking on it, or it might get caught on something and it's going to chip. And also this can also mess with your shape. So make sure you go on the underside and clean all the hangnails out. As it comes down to the drilling, I'm using a medium carbide bit from Amazon. This is Pana. If you type in P-A-N-A on Amazon, you're going to see a lot of different drill bits. So this one that I'm using is the medium. I use the coarse one for my soak-offs and the medium for debulking my acrylic. When you're e-filing, guys, please make sure that you're focusing on your sidewalls and your cuticles. You want to start from the right, make your way in the cuticle area, and make your way to the left. The main focus of this is to seal your cuticle so water does not get trapped underneath the nail, cause lifting, causing greenies and stuff like that. And I also use my bit to give my free edge an extra crispiness. Some clients like that little U-shaped look. Some clients does not like it. And I have to train myself to ask clients because I sometimes go with the trend and think everybody want their nails to look like that. And then I noticed some people start asking, hey, can you get rid of that U shape? So I start asking. Like I said before, back to the sealing. You have to make sure that you're sealing your cuticles. Look at how I am focusing on the back end of my nails. Coming out the cuticle, that area specifically, I want to make that area super flat. It should look like the acrylic is coming out her nail. When that area is flat, you're going to whip lifting ass. Make sure that area is flat, guys. Trust me, just follow these steps and you're not going to have any problem with lifting. When you go over the surface of the nail, hold that drill bit completely flat on the surface, because when you hold it flat, it is going to connect throughout the nail and even out the surface of the nail. So when you're going over the surface like this, just make sure this part right here, make sure that you hold the bit completely flat. That way the bit is going to connect to the surface of the acrylic and it's going to even it out. And like I said, one more thing that I want to advise you. If you're not comfortable with the speed of your drill, you can start at 8,000 RPM. I'm going at like 18, 19. This is not mandatory. You could start at 10, 9, and within 3 weeks, you're going to start increasing your speed. The main focus is for you to be able to control your drill so you do not cut your clients, and focus on getting in your sidewalls and your cuticles. Once you get that part out the way, you are going to be on track. So do not feel forced to put your drill at 20,000 RPM. Stop following what you see online, people trying to look like a pro, doing everything super fast. Mind you, this video that I'm showing you is real time. This is real time. I love to show stuff also in real time, so you guys can also see, like, I take my time to do stuff. And what I also notice is, I'm not sure if this is gonna make sense, but the slower I go is the faster I move, because when I go slow, I don't make mistakes. I do everything intentionally and everything gets covered properly and I work effectively. So sometimes if you focus, move slower, focus on the details, it doesn't sound right, but you're going to move faster. Move slower so you can move faster, because when you move slower, you make less mistakes. I have to leave the link for this drill in the description below, because trust me guys, it is going to be in my Amazon storefront. This drill is probably 3 years old and is still going strong. Mind you, I sold this drill to one of the nail technicians in my shop and she's still using it, and that was after like 8 months of me using it. She's still using it. So 3 years going strong. It's deserved to be linked below. You know I'm all about quality products, and I'm going to leave that link in this description, and also for the armrest as well. Okay, so before my design, I'm going to apply base coat. That way my lines come out very sharp without all the ridges. So if you want your lines to be sharp, apply base coat first, because you know sometimes when you file, especially when you use a sanding band, if you go in with your art, it is the polish is going to seep through the ridges and the work is not going to be as detailed. With my French, what I'm going to do is I start from one side, meet in the middle, and then I come from the opposite side. My bad, let's rewind. I start from one side, then from the opposite side I come in and I meet in the middle, and then I shade the rest of the French in. I've been practicing this way for so long and I perfected it. If you explore different options, you have to choose something that you like. It doesn't have to be this way, but when you find something that you like, stick to it and keep practicing it. You can always explore different things. With my French, I explored so many different ways, and I'm like, okay, I still prefer this, so I'm going to stick to this. Whatever you do, you're going to develop a muscle memory for it, so it's going to become like secondhand nature, and you're going to do it with ease. Also, when I'm drawing my French, I use the tip of my brush. The tip of the brush gives your line a sharper look, like especially for the beginning when I'm making the outline for the French. I always stay on the tip of the brush, and then when I'm shading in the French, that's when I would use more of the body like I'm doing right now. But when I'm making that main line, the border of the French, I stay at the more towards the tip. That way the line is a little bit more sharper. And like I said, I shade with the belly of the brush. Nail art is not something that I know how to do from before. I don't know how to draw. You do not need to know how to draw to do nails. Once you're dedicated, you're going to eventually get it. Just start out by making one line, one little slanted line, then you're like, oh, I did that nice. Let me do another line. Let me do another one. Next minute, you know, you're drawing all over nails just like how I am doing. So with French also, you want to make sure that the French looks the same or even close. Even if they're not all twinning, but they have to look uniform to some extent, because we are not going to get it perfect all the time. But once you do the first finger, what I usually do is the first finger, I make sure that that's how my client wants it to look. So the next 9 fingers, I'm going to aim for them to look like the first finger. You cannot draw the first finger and then go to the rest of the fingers and you're not trying to remember how the first French looks. You have to remember how the first French looks. So for that French, it was too thick, so I ended up removing it because the other Frenchies, they were not as thick as that one. So I removed it, and then I'm going to do that one over again. Like I said, I'm always aiming for all the Frenchies to look like the first finger that I did. So whatever finger you start from, and I'm hoping it's the pinky finger, because when you're working, if you want to save time with everything you're doing, start in the same pattern every single time. If you start from the pinky, always start from the pinky. If you start from your thumb, always start from the thumb. From the application to the filing to the design, go in one direction every single time, and this will help you with your timing as well. I've been using this yellow all spring long. The girlies love this yellow, super cute. I got it from D&D. I'm gonna try to see if I could find the link below and list it. But this yellow, trust me, every time I show my clients the option, they always choose this one. So I know they love it. So what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to come in one more time, look at all my French, make sure nothing was leaking. If anything leaked, I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. Now I'm going to apply these charms that I got off Amazon as well. And I did apply my stone glue before, so I applied the stone glue to all fingers. Then I'm going to come in with the charms and add all the charms. So with the charms, you always want to make sure they are completely straight before you cure, because once you cure, it's hard for them to come off. You're going to end up having to use your drill or end up having to buff if it's crooked. You have to take the charm off, buff that spot that you applied the glue, and reapply the charm. So just make sure that they're completely straight before you cure them, because once you cure, that's it. So for the ring finger, I'm going to do this cute print, and for all prints, I always use my dotting tool. Dotting tools are the best for any type of circular or flat designs. You always want to use your dotting tools because it's just so much easier. Cow prints, leopard prints, what else? Anything that has to do with like flat or circles. Use your dotting tool. That's going to save you so much time. So I'm just applying random dots to where I feel like it's going to look best. Then I'm going to cure, and then I'm going to go around the brown with some black. That way I create the look. and then after that I'm going to let her cure one more time. So you always want to also make sure that before you cure, the design is how you want it to look, because once you cure, like I said, if you don't like it, you're going to have to drill, and that's going to create dust and all that extra stuff. So I always make sure that's what my client wants and everything looks good before I cure the nails. And remember guys, please do not forget to like this video, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section if you're enjoying all my tutorials. My next video is going to, I think I have an encapsulated video to shoot, to edit, so I'm going to do that one next for you guys. So for my 3D flowers, I was applying my 3D, then I noticed that I didn't put the top coat, so I had to remove the leaves. I do like to apply my top coat first, because when I apply my top coat after, it makes my 3D flowers not as 3D. You know, it takes away from the effect of the 3D. So I went in and I applied my top coat. Then I'm going to come back with the 3D flowers using my 3D brush. And with 3D flowers, it's kind of weird. The acrylic cannot be too runny and it cannot be too dry. If it's too runny, the flowers is not going to mold properly. It's going to spread out and it's not going to have that effect that you want it to have. And if it's too dry, you're not going to be able to mold it how you want to mold it. So I feel like just in the medium range is perfect for 3D flowers. It can't be too runny, and you definitely don't want it to be too dry. So once you notice that sometimes when you press in your 3D flowers, you start to see cracks around the flower, you know that one was too dry. So with 3D flowers, I feel like even me, I'm still playing with how I can go faster and knowing the consistency of the bead and when to press in it. So my clients, they don't really get a lot of 3D flowers, so I don't really get enough time to practice like that, like how I would really love to. But I do feel like for the most part, I do a pretty good job with 3D flowers, because I do just work with it within that moment just to see what needs to get done as well. And then I'm just carving out like the edge of the flowers just to give it the effect that I want it to have. And then you want to also make sure that when you're carving out your flowers, do it before the acrylic dries, because once the acrylic dry, you're going to have to remove that leaf to get whatever effect that you're trying to get. Also guys, I want you all to read the description, and I'm going to leave all the link for every single thing that I used in this video. I used 876 square tips, I used roses for the acrylic, I used 876 monomer, 876 hand file. We do have a lot of quality products on the website, so please do not forget to check them out. And we're currently having free shipping on every single order. We're going to be having free shipping. So one more thing that I noticed as well, I didn't bring back some of the old colors in this new launch, but the old colors are coming back. It's just that I switched my vendor, so I need more time to get the old colors to them and for them to make it. But the new colors are very similar, and you guys should definitely find some time to check out all the new colors. I think we have like 10 different acrylic colors, and there varies from pinks to nude, so you will definitely find something for your clients over there. Now guys, this is the final results. These are super cute, and let me know if this is something that you would ever try on your clients. Bye. Thank you for watching.